Hey there, and welcome to my channel. Thanks for coming and watching me do art too. So today we'll be doing a hair tutorial. No one asked for it, but I felt like doing it just to share my knowledge of hair shading and such. As you see, we have this wonderful random soul of a character person right here. And I did all the shading, I hope so, I believe so, besides the hair, because that's what we're going to be doing. So enough of that, and let's get started. So like I said, we're going to be mostly focusing on the hair, and this shading tutorial should work on both Clip Studio Paint and Paint Tool Sai. I'm only showing Clip Studio Paint because that's all I have right now available to me. But I'm pretty sure work on Sai because I used to use Sai, and I used to shade my hair somewhat like this. But I'm pretty sure if I go back to the program now and try to do the same method, it should work. Okay, so we have this person. We have a dark red head right here, and we're gonna start a new layer. Now, I don't know how you start a new layer in Sai, I forgot, but either you can click this button, one of these buttons, or a raster layer, or I have a shortcut for it. So we're gonna start a new layer. I'm just gonna name it layer 1 so we can all get situated. And either you can do normal or multiply. It's a mix between whatever for me, but since I'm doing like one hair color instead of like an ombre or like a wild hair with like different like layers and stuff, I'll just do multiply for today. And that's gonna be our layer 1. And I'm gonna press this button right here to clip at layer below. So we're gonna click this layer, and we're gonna pick a color. Since I'm doing multiply, it's gonna be shaded differently. So I'm gonna click, do a little mouse, a little eyedropper tool, and just click the hair color that I already gave her. So this is where the tutorial comes in. So the way how I shade hair, I go to a water tool, and these are like the 3 main water tools I use in Clip. The opaque water tool, the opaque hair, which I designed, which I kind of made myself, and the transparent watercolor. The opaque and transparent watercolor are already in your library of brushes when you have Clip Studio Paint. I just made the opaque hair myself. So this is what we're going to do. I'm gonna tap it out the way, press tab to get all the little fancy little stuff out the way, and I'm just gonna start shading the hair. Now this is where I decide, do I really want the multiply layer or not? And I think I probably don't, because this looks pretty dark. So this is where I'm gonna change it. I'll just set it as normal, and instead of like using the eyedropper tool I use, because it's just gonna paint the same color as the hair, I'm going to make it a little bit darker, and I'm going to raise the saturation up a little bit, and this should make a difference. And it did. See, now that looks more pleasant. It doesn't look as harsh. So like I said, now let's start for real. We're going to like shade the top of the hair like this, like line it out a little bit, and like I said, I'm using the opaque watercolor tool, so that's what I'm using. I'm sure to Sai you could just use a water brush, a watercolor brush, and that should work. And this is how I'm gonna do the hair for now. I'm just gonna start off with this top, shade it like this, and I have some hair in the back I used to just darken that all together. And once I kind of do this, kind of get like a rough feel of things, I switch tools. You can still use what I'm about to do with this tool, but I switch tools because this is more like a brush kind of watercolor. And what I do is I kind of like outline the hair in a way. I'll show you because it doesn't make sense how I'm saying. I do this. I draw little flows of hair like so, till I get to my look. I kind of do like blocks about like little blocky strands. Now, if you kind of like did bomb job in line art, usually you don't have to do this, but I see my line art is kind of just this part of the hair and not like the individual strands, so that's why I'm doing that. And that's why this hair tutorial, I kind of make my own line art in the coloring. And you just gotta, this is kind of a trial and error. I don't know exactly what to say, but kind of like draw strands you think see fit, that you think look nice. Like this, I'm probably gonna take that back. And we'll go over this later. And you do that all throughout the hair. But when I go down here, I kind of make like bigger strands, like bigger strokes, and kind of like feel around to see how it look, how would I like my hair to look. So I'm gonna try to go this method first. Since I kind of have like hair in front of her shoulders, I'm gonna like make this the darkest of all. So I'm gonna switch brushes and go to the opaque water tool and just, you know, make that darker than the rest of the hair. See? Nice. Now go back to my opaque hair and keep messing around with the strands. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it's just hair and it's like, you know, messy, but this is how I do it. And I think it comes out pretty nice. And there you go. This looks a little bit weird, now that I think about it, but we're gonna fix this later. Okay, so that's how we do it. And now this is kind of a little quirk, I almost forgot, but I do this like little indication right here with my little wobbly circles. And this is gonna be kind of hard to explain, so I'm just show you. I'm gonna put this on another layer so it help make it easy. So I'm gonna go with the water color, the opaque watercolor, and we're gonna shape the ends of it like this, like that, and like that. Now this looks really weird, but when I clip the layer, the only thing you're gonna see is all like, when I clip the layer, you're not going to see like this little reddish part that's outside of the line art right here, and the only thing you're gonna see is like this little shine piece. So I'm just gonna do it so it makes sense. Clip, and it shines a little. Yay, pretty pretty. Okay, let's continue. Now that I have the little strands all done, you can see things. You can, if you have a gradient tool, which I do, you're going to darken the top of the hair and you're going to darken the bottom of the hair. And if you have bangs, like this character does, you're going to darken the tip of the bang. So like the tips of the hair and the top of the hair. So I'm going to use the gradient tool for the bottom of the hair, like so. To make it darker. You don't have to be that dark, so I'm going to fix that a little bit. Like so. And I'm going to use, I think, what's this called? The airbrush tool, or the little spray can. It should be both in clip and side. And we're going to just darken the top of the hair. Let me change the opacity of this a little bit. Make it easier. And we're just going to darken the top of the hair. Boop. So the darkest line art can kind of blend in a little bit. And we're going to shade in the tips of the bangs. And voila! Already looks better. Now sometimes I kind of do the airbrush tool across like this, especially when I have a lot of hair. And when you have like short hair, you don't have to do this, but I do the airbrush across just to break it up, so it just won't be like this, just like this little weird little spot right here. It's not have no depth or whatever to it. So I just do that. And there we go. Now we're going to go to the fun part, which is my favorite part, which is highlighting. Okay, now with highlighting, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Well, not tricky, but it's going to be kind of hard to explain. So we're going to make a new layer. And this is going to be layer 2. This is going to be my highlight layer. And we're going to, in Clip Studio Paint, we're going to do Add Glow. And I believe inside is called Lumosity. And that's going to be our new layer. We're going to clip this layer so it doesn't go outside of the hair because it'll look really weird. And we're going to pick a color. Now, I'm going to do this in 2 shades to kind of show how to try to like compare the two. So we're going to get a white. And the white you can do universal for like any hair type, any hair color, but it will look kind of flat. Like I know highlighting in a white color, but this hair will look kind of flat. Now you can highlight in a white with dark hair, like black hair or gray hair, or like, you know, any of this hair color in this spectrum. It'll be cool to shade in a white. Now with like this hair, you just kind of, like I said, trial and error, and gonna figure out what color works best for this. Now with red, I would either go with a orange or a yellow or kind of like gold. So, or like a muted red, not like this. This is too much. Oop, use the wrong thing. We're gonna go to the second swatch. This will be too much because it'll best to show you. Well, it'll be a lot. I'm just gonna pick my watercolor tool and do what I'm gonna do. And that just looks out of place. It doesn't match the shade of the hair. It just looks weird, and even if you kind of like change the opacity, it just doesn't look cool. So no, pick your colors wisely. And with the white with its hair, it might look okay. Like this. Like, it looks okay, it looks fine, but it could be better. So we're going to change this. Now I think a little orange will do the trick, or like a yellow, like that in between. So I'll pick this kind of a pale mustard yellow, and that's where we're gonna choose for our highlight. Now this part is gonna be kind of interesting for me to say because I want to know how to explain this in a way that you can understand. So we're gonna try anyway. Now with my highlighting, I use 2 different brushes. I use the opaque and the transparent. Now I use the I mostly use the transparent because opaque, you can just, this how it will come out, and the transparent will be a little bit like watered down, a little bit lighter, and that's what I like. Of course you can still use the opaque brush and clip and just turn down the opacity and you'll still be fine. But I'd rather use the transparent, because if I do want like bright shining things to like stick out the rest of them, it'll dull down if I just turn the opacity down. So I use the transparent tool, that's what I'm saying. But I'll start off with the opaque tool. So let's begin. Okie dokie. Now I have the opaque tool right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make like cute little ovals. We're going to worry about this eyebrow later, trust me. Make cute little strokes, because these are some interesting ovals, because I just said ovals. And kind of follow the strands. Try to follow the strands in the middle and not like these little strands we made. So shape this part, not this part. And we're just gonna keep going with that. Try to fit in between it and kind of like curve to the shape of the hair. You know, I changed the sides by using Control Alt. I don't know if that's the command inside, but I use Control Alt. I made my keyboard shortcut for that. And there we have. It's highlighted. Looks terrible now, but this is what I do. Okay, so clip wanna freeze for a second? Give it a minute. Okay, there we go. This is what I do. So, as you see, here's my swatches. Here's my first swatch, here's my second swatch. I'm using this to color. Now, I use this to color and get the little strokes that we have. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm still going to use the opaque watercolor, and I'm going to erase the ends, not with the eraser tool, because if I use the eraser tool and try to erase it, it's going to look like really, really like choppy and weird, and just not nice. Like, you see that? It might look cool to some people, like if you sketch it out, but it doesn't look cool to me. I forgot what this is called inside, but in clip, we're going to get like this little checkerboard pattern. I think it's called like alpha erase or something inside. I'm not completely sure, but we're gonna get this checkerboard pattern, and I don't know how it looks because my setup looks different. Like when I minimize it, I wouldn't know how to do the checkerboard pattern, so I just have it like I stretch it out enough so I can see it. So right here, little checkerboard, little eraser. Now this is gonna erase your this is like an eraser, but instead of the eraser tool, which kind of do a choppy little thing, no matter what you use, like even you use a soft eraser, this is a separate tool, like rough, this is a tool, the eraser tool, it's just going to erase. With this tool, it's going to be choppy or whatever. Now when you use this little checkerboard little thing, this also erases, but it's going to erase using the tool you selected. So, this is going to erase using the opaque watercolor. Not the erase tool, but this does erase. Now, we're going to erase the ends using the opaque watercolor. And what I do is like you go from the middle and erase down. So like you see where my little cursor is, I'm going to do this and I'm going to erase the ends like so. Now you probably say, that looks weird, but you can do this on the other side and it kind of makes a cute little shine. Now I'm going to keep doing it with all the little ones I selected and change the brush depending on the stroke size. There you go. Now wowie! Still looking intense, but I'm going to just change the opacity to about, we're going to go a good little, I'll do 40. And voila, look at that shine. Ooh. Ooh woo woo. Ooh woo woo woo. Looks nice, doesn't it? That's how I do it. And then I just do this all over the hair. Now you're probably like, can't I just, using the wrong thing, gotta go back to my swatch. Now you probably like, can you do this and erase with the watercolor tool? Well, you can, but you can't. Like, look what happened when I try to do it. You gotta do it multiple times. And it kind of gives like this weird little watercolor, water brush residue. Like, you see that? You're gonna get that. So you can still use the water. You use the transparent watercolor, but I will erase with the opaque watercolor to get that more sharp yet not harsh erase line, as if you would get if you use the eraser tool. So, like I said, we're just gonna continue to do this around the hair. Now look at that. Look how adorable that looks. Her hair looks so shiny. Although it's supposed to be red, it looks more like a brunette, which is interesting because I use yellow. Now look, before, after. Look at what shine can do. And look at that. Looks nice. Now I can go the extra mile. And instead of doing that, you can either do add glow or overlay. Overlay kind of so I don't, but we can do both. We can do the add glow for the little shine, and do the overlay to finish it off. And that's it for the shading. And the last thing I do, I collapse my color layer, and I make a new layer and have it for strands. I pick a little, with my eyedropper tool, one of like the hair colors I want to use or whatever. Just pick some, pick two, so I did it. And I'm gonna go to my watercolor brushes, and I'm gonna use my opaque hair for the strands, and just have a little extra hair at the side. As you see, this is under my lighter layer, but over my color layer, and you just go wild. And woo, that is my finished hair tutorial. And I'll just add a couple of lines here and there for that messy look, that vibe. And there you go. It is finished. Now, I hope you like it. Even though it wasn't requested, this was fun to do. This is how I do and shade my hair and my size. Being weird now. So I should actually save before something happens to this. I'm saving right now. Wait, but yeah, this is my finished hair tutorial. I hope you like it. It was really fun to do, and move my cursor out the way. But yeah, if you want any more hair tutorials, or I guess tutorials in general, you can like leave a comment down below. You can subscribe for more. I do tutorials and speed paints. Thus far, although this is the second video on my channel. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and subscribe to stick around to see me post more, because I will be posting more. And thank you for watching. See you next time.